Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another Roblox reaction, another Outcome Memories reaction. This is Field of Fury. Obviously, you probably read the title. So I'm going to be getting to this one because so many people wanted me to get to this one. It was very highly requested, still is, in every Roblox video and some other videos. So I'm just going to be getting to it, but this will probably be my last one for this game, at least for the foreseeable future. There are so many Roblox titles I need to get back to especially, so I'm going to be doing those, but I feel like I've covered most of the super popular ones with these 3 or so that I've done, so I guess that's about it. Without further ado, let's go! Okay. I'm digging the bass. Ooh, I'm turning this up. Okay.
How are you? Can you please explain it? No matter who you are, you just cannot fake it. Living on the edge of reality. If you mess with my friends, you're gonna mess with me. Destroy my home, you invade this land. Listen real close so you understand. Tougher than leather, we in this together. You're never gonna win. Two knuckles forever.
I really love that bass line. Very slappy. Nice halftime switch. Wait a minute. We'll get there. Wait a minute. I just realized something. Now it's so obvious I can't ignore it. Again, I'll get there. I'm just gonna be laughing about it. I'll talk about it afterwards.
You can have it all, no matter how much you want it. Some things in life you just can't flaunt. I see through. No need for the front. You need a mask. That's only assumption. But it's hard, but it's what you need. Stay steady on your ground. Let your actions see. No time for the fake. I'm too busy staying true. Keep it real. Time to take a load. Let's go another round. Victory inside you. That champion sound. Feeling of the fire. You can't keep it down.
You know, usually I don't love the lyricism in really fan music of any sort. Not that this kind of counts with that, sort of. But that rap is not bad. It's a little bit safe, but that's also expected for what it is. See, like that break and everything, there's so much about this song that's now funny to me. And I just don't want to say why yet. Still love this halftime. Not the goofy goober guitar. All right, that was valid. A little bit of vocalizing. Always appreciate that. I'm kind of... I'm finding myself at a loss which of the two from Ramon I prefer. I mean, they're both good in their own ways, but I really want to get into what was like hitting me and sending me off about this song, so let's do that. So the reason that this song was bugging me so much once I realized what was happening, this is almost verbatim, and I mean almost 1-to-1. It is so close. the chorus and the chorus break of like as it leads out or goes into the next part of the song of Kyoran Hey Kids from Noragami, the opening to Noragami. This is the same thing. If you don't know what that is, look up Noragami opening or Hey Kids anime opening and listen to that song. It is the same thing effectively, like down to the chords and the clusters chosen, even to the break of having like a section between the chorus going back into the verse section, or I guess a sort of bridge. That's not exact. That's a little different from this song, but it's very close. And even like down to like some of the things he was doing on the guitar, it was almost exactly Hey Kids, which is funny purely because of, one, the similarities being frankly pretty stark, almost to the line where I would argue that this may have been a song that was inspired heavily. Ooh woo. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing with my fingers there. Either way, it's very inspired and you can tell. And I don't know if that was supposed to be intended or if it was a subconscious thing. That happens a lot. Music is music. And when you make stuff, sometimes you're going to be inspired by stuff that you're not even realizing. Maybe he heard this song one time in a meme forever ago. The Hey Kids opening is insanely popular. It's all over the place. And I would not be surprised if that were the case. Like it was just something that he heard way back when, and it's just a tune that's stuck in his head, or he just straight up was like, you know what, I'm gonna yoink this, mine now, which I would defend less if that is the case, but I think that he did make it original enough that it doesn't necessarily, like, again, it's close, but it's not exact. The chorus is the closest thing, even down to some of the lyrical choices in there, not actually lyrics, but the notes being done, like the track of what the top line is. It's very, like, again, it's very eyebrow raising when it comes to the amount of similarities between it, but having the rap sections in there, that helps a lot in the difference because it doesn't really have that for Hey Kids, so that's fine, you know. But in general, it's not like it's a bad song. It made me laugh and that I couldn't unhear it. And I'm sure that all of you are going to now have that exact same experience once you go and look up that song if you don't know what it is already. But that aside, the only other things that really happened with this song were the same ones that happened with Break Free for me, which is the mixing really isn't that fantastic. It's flat, it's fairly quiet, and while things kind of make sense in that way, it's not loud enough to make up for it. Like the noise floor is pretty low in this song, so like all of the vocals are just way more in front and there's no glue holding them together. Again, it's very similar to the stuff I said about Break Free, so it's just kind of more of the same of Ramon's things where it's like, I want to hear, like, Ramon has great like musical awareness in how he's writing, and again, if this one is like a straight up copy, that's another argument, but if we're just talking about his general approach, he understands what he's doing, he understands where things need to go and where it needs to be structured to make sense for a song. He's not doing things that a lot of novice people do where it's just like, here's some random bullshit, throw it at the wall, and you can tell that they're not really experienced. Clearly Ramon knows what he's doing. It's just more the technical side of things that he's kind of falling flat on, and in this case the song as a whole, it kind of falls flat because there's no energy behind it. He's losing a lot of ground just to not have a good enough mix and master to the song, and it's just too quiet. Like at the beginning I was like, I need to turn this up, and that was mostly because I was interested to hear where the song was going and I couldn't quite hear it, and I thought that might have just been like a filter added to it, and I'm like, okay, so maybe it's like they're starting out as like an intro with a filter on it. That's pretty common, and it was gonna open up, and then it didn't, and I was like, oh. And it just kind of hit me a little bit. I don't know if it showed on my face, but there might have been a point during the reaction where my face was like, meh, like just kind of realizing that there was a lack of boost once the song really hit its stride. And again, that's something that I also had an issue with in Break Free, where it's really just the technical side of stuff, where it really seems like Ramon understands how to write music very well, and even if the lyrics aren't entirely his and they were written by the people that he worked with, which is pretty common, especially when you're working with somebody who raps, you don't tend to write those yourself. You largely leave that to the person who knows what they're doing with the flow, their flow, or at very least you give them like a layout of what you want, and they'll write based around that. Either way, it's usually their side helping out there, and that's why I like the lyrics in this one. You could tell that the rapper in this one was doing a very good job at like making those flows work for the context of the song. Nothing felt like it was falling off the wayside, kind of more similar to Don't Blink, where I didn't love Don't Blink, and I know that's not Ramon, mind you, but it's just lyrically, that one kind of just felt everywhere, like there were too many hands in the pot. This one felt a lot more straightforward, like everyone kind of worked together to make it all make sense. And that's more what I want to hear, because that's kind of how songs should be. When you have something like Don't Blink, and sorry, catching strays, Don't Blink, but there were clearly a bunch of ideas on the paper, and it just didn't go anywhere. And I mentioned that during the video too. It was just, it just didn't hit me the same way. And this is a much better lyrical song when it comes straight up to the consistency of what was going on. And I like that a lot. But again, more technical side of stuff for Ramon. It's just work on the mixing and mastering. That's really it. You're losing a lot of body by just making things so flat and putting the vocals on top and doing nothing else with it. There's so much more room and depth in music. You can use that and abuse that if you know how to. That second part is the part that needs to be worked on. Aside from that, and whether or not this was totally ripped from Noragami, I'm not assuming it is, but it very well could have been. It's still that he knows what he's doing and he has a good idea behind the song. And with everything else that's going on in here, like the solo was really solid. Like, I don't know if Ramon is like a guitarist by trade and just happens to produce music like this, or if he's more like a generalist producer and does a little bit of everything and doesn't actually play guitar and programs the guitar, in which case he understands what makes a guitar solo make sense. There are so many people out there who will program a guitar solo and it's just completely nonsensical. Like, there's no reason, there's no rhyme, there's no follow up to where the actual melody is going in the solo, and there needs to be. You need to follow some general music theory to make that make sense. Just like you would in a piano solo, you gotta follow the key, you gotta follow the scales, and there are a lot of songs out there where people just don't get that, and they start just randomly flailing all over. And when that happens, it doesn't make sense, and it always bugs me. So it's always nice to hear somebody who does get it. But again, I don't know what his background is. He could very well be an established guitar player and completely gets it, and therefore can play. But like for the drums in this one, just like the drums in Break Free, I thought they were pretty solid, even though I had that one issue with the Break Free drums. It was a minor issue, and for this one, I didn't hear any of those issues. It seemed very consistent all the way through. There was no flubs anywhere. They weren't trying to do anything that was like too weird, you know. So the programmed drums that you could tell that they weren't like garbage, you know, which also is something that happens for people who are just unaware of how to handle them. So again, clearly he knows what he's doing, and I love that. It's just got to work on the technical side of things. If you don't want to mix and master yourself even, there are people on Fiverr who will, you know? I mean, I've done that before. I've used people who have mixed and mastered the covers I've done before. I went to Sound Better and I hired somebody, and he was phenomenal to work with and not that expensive either. So like, if you got a couple of bucks, somebody on Fiverr will do it, you know? You can find somebody who really gets that mix and will find that answer for you. So even if you don't want to learn, you can find somebody who will. But again, all things considered, I think we got a pretty solid song out of him again, so I'd give this one a solid 7. Not too shabby. I think this one was better, in my opinion, after I've talked about it and thought it out. I think this one might have been a little bit better than Break Free in a lot of ways, but I just like the vibe of Break Free a little bit more. Technically and like lyrically, I think this one may be the winner, but if we're talking like overall vibes, maybe Break Free. You know, it's very sliding on that scale of rating. So either way, that's all my thoughts on this one. If you enjoyed this video and you want to request something else, drop in the comments below. Like I said, I'll probably avoid any more outcome memories for a while. But if you have something from a different Roblox game, leave that down in the comments below, and I will do my best as always to get to those. Or if you don't want to do any of that, maybe just want to follow me and support me for more stuff coming in the future, you know how to do all that. And I will see all of you in the next video. Goodbye!